The keycard clicks in my apartment door lock, and my shoulder aches from lugging 8 weeks of life in Canada through Denver International. Home smells exactly like I left it, coffee beans and lavender air freshener. But something's wrong. Aunt Paula stands in my living room, her pearl necklace catching the afternoon light. "Welcome home, dear." Her smile stretches too wide, like a rubber band about to snap. "I brought you a little something." My carry-on slips from my shoulder, thudding against hardwood. The crisp white envelope in her manicured fingers bears a silver border I recognize from the wedding planning websites I'd bookmarked months ago. "Sometimes life writes better love stories than we do, dear." The envelope trembles in my hands. Inside, delicate black script dances across thick cardstock. "Kayla and Landon joyfully invite you." The room spins, my cousin's name next to my fiancé's, the day toward date 3 months from now. My phone's already in my hand, muscle memory pulling up Landon's contact. The call fails. I try again. A computerized voice informs me the number has blocked incoming calls. "He and Kayla realized they were meant to be while you were gone." Paula perches on my couch, the sage green one Landon and I picked out last Christmas. "These things happen for a reason." Our engagement photos mock me from every wall. Landon and me at Garden of the Gods, his arms around my waist, my head thrown back laughing, us building a snowman at Winter Park. The ring me grandmother's diamond reset in rose gold still sits on my nightstand where I left it before my flight. I'd been paranoid about losing it during training. "The certification program was important for your career." Paula's voice drips honey-coated venom, but Landon needed someone present, someone supportive. 5 years together flashed through my mind. The nervous coffee date where he spilled his latte all over his khakis. Moving in together after 2 years, his ancient futon crammed next to my IKEA furniture. His proposal last spring, simple and perfect in our favorite breakfast spot. When I told him about the project management certification opportunity in Vancouver, he'd seemed supportive. "8 weeks will fly by," he'd said, helping me research apartments near the training center. We'd already booked the mountain lodge for October. 300 guests. The savings account we'd built together held $18,000, my consulting bonuses making up most of it. Our last video call 2 weeks ago replays in my head. His distracted answers, the way he'd rushed to end the conversation. "You were so busy with your classes." Paula examines her French manicure. Landon felt abandoned. "Kayla understood she works part-time at the dentist's office, you know. Keeps reasonable hours." She was there for him when he needed someone. The pieces clicked together like a jigsaw puzzle from hell. The family barbecue Paula hosted in July. How Landon's calls grew shorter, his texts more sporadic. The vague Instagram posts about unexpected blessings and fate's perfect timing. My laptop sits open on the kitchen counter. 3 clicks to my banking app reveal what I already suspect: Landon quit his engineering job 4 months ago. Never mentioned a word about it. "Kayla won't abandon him for a career like you did." Paula stands, smoothing her linen pants. She knows what matters in life. The lock clicks behind her with quiet finality. I sink to the floor, surrounded by the life I thought I was coming home to. The future Mrs. and Mr. Sign on the fridge. The wedding planning binder bulging with vendor contracts. Our vacation photo wall laughing at my stupidity. My hands shake as I pull the frames down one by one. Each happy moment becomes a lie in reverse. The snowman photo cracks as it hits the trash bag. Morning light creeps through the windows as I seal the last box of memories. My eyes burn from crying, but my spine straightens with each item packed away. They can have each other. I won't fight for someone who couldn't even face me with the truth. I won't fight for any of it at all. The phone rings at 3 a.m. at the dawn. Mom's number flashes on my screen and my stomach drops. She never calls this late unless something's wrong. "Your father had words with Paula tonight." Her voice carries decades of exhaustion. "There's something you need to know about your aunt." I sink onto my couch, surrounded by half-packed boxes of my former life. "What happened?" "Remember how I met your father?" A long pause fills the line. Paula saw him first at the county fair. She spent weeks telling everyone they were practically dating. My fingers traced the familiar pattern of my grandmother's quilt. But they weren't? Not even close. She waved to him at the Ferris wheel once. Mom's laugh holds no humor. When he asked me to dance at the Harvest Festival, Paula didn't speak to me for months. The pieces click together like a jigsaw puzzle in reverse, each connection revealing an uglier picture. She's still punishing you through me, isn't she? Paula married Frank Thompson 6 weeks after your father and I got engaged. Everyone knew she did it to prove something. Mom's voice breaks. When Frank left her with a 2-year-old Kayla, your father helped her make rent. He's been sending her money every month since then. The room spins. I grab a pen, needing something solid in my hand. Every month? For 25 years? $500, like clockwork. Papers rustle in the background. He finally stopped tonight, said he wouldn't fund the destruction of his daughter's happiness. My throat closes. Dad, quiet and steady, who never raised his voice, who taught me to change my own tires and balance my checkbook. Who hugged me every time I left the house, even after I turned 28. Paula showed up at the house an hour ago. Mom's words sharpen, demanding the wedding fund, saying it belonged to Kayla now, that you owed them for abandoning Landon. The pen snaps in my grip. Black ink bleeds across my palm like a bruise. I abandoned him? I was gone 8 weeks for a certification he encouraged me to get. While you were earning that certification, Paula had Kayla bringing him dinner 3 nights a week. Invited him to family gatherings she made sure we didn't know about. Mom's voice hardens. She planned this, sweetheart. Like she's planned everything since the day your father chose me. The weight of generational wounds crashes through my chest. Every snide comment about my career. Every comparison between Kayla's traditional choices and my professional ambitions. Every time Paula called me the busy one at family gatherings, lips curved in a smile that never reached her eyes. Your father told her something tonight I've wanted to say for 30 years. Pride and pain tangle in Mom's voice. He said, "You didn't lose Bob because of Margaret. You lost him because you saw him as a prize to be won instead of a person to be loved." Tears spill down my cheeks. Not for Landon or Kayla or the life I thought I was building, for the decades of poison Paula's bitterness fed into our family tree. For the little girl she'd raised to be a weapon instead of a person. I've got a friend. The words tumble out before I can stop them. Sarah from the consulting firm. She's got a spare room in Seattle. Seattle? Mom's breath catches. That's so far. I need far right now. I look around my apartment at the walls still covered in evidence of a future that died while I was chasing my dreams. I already applied for positions there. What about the wedding fund? 80% of that money came from my bonuses. My voice steadies. I'm closing the account tomorrow morning. Paula will lose her mind. Let her. The words carry no anger, just certainty. I'm done paying the price for a war that started before I was born. A key rattles in my front door. I freeze, heart pounding, until Dad's familiar bulk fills the doorway. His eyes are red, his silver hair rumpled. When he sees me on the couch, phone pressed to my ear, he crosses the room in 3 strides and pulls me into a hug that smells like Old Spice and safety. I've got her, he says loud enough for Mom to hear. I'll bring home breakfast. Dad. I press my face into his flannel shirt. I'm so sorry. No, his chest rumbles against my ear. You have nothing to be sorry for. I should have seen what Paula was doing years ago. Should have cut off that money the first time she tried to compete with your mother through you and Kayla. I got a job offer. My voice muffles against his shirt. In Seattle. They want me to start in 2 weeks. His arms tighten. Then we better start packing. But what about Paula? And Kayla? And all the wedding guests? Dad pulls back, his hands gentle on my shoulders. The lamplight catches silver strands in his beard, marks of time I somehow missed appearing. Your mother and I will handle the guests. As for Paula, his jaw tightens. Some people spend so long poisoning the water, they forget how to drink anything else. I don't want revenge. The truth of it surprises me. I just want to be free of all of it. Then that's what we'll give you. He reaches into his jacket and pulls out a thick envelope. But first, I think you should read this. Bank statements spill across my coffee table. 30 years of canceled checks to Paula Thompson. Notations in my father's careful handwriting. Rent payments, car repairs, Kayla's braces. Summer camps, college application fees. I kept track of everything. Dad's voice roughens. Thought I was helping her build a life. never saw I was just funding her revenge. The last check, dated 3 days ago, bears a final notation. For services rendered in the destruction of my daughter's happiness, payment stopped. I reach for his hand, feeling the calluses earned from decades of construction work, the hands that built my childhood treehouse, taught me to ride a bike, held me through every scraped knee and broken heart. Thank you, my voice cracks, for choosing Mom, for choosing me. His fingers tighten around mine. Every single day, kiddo, every single day. Outside my window, Denver's lights glitter like fallen stars. Tomorrow I'll close the account that was supposed to fund my wedding, pack the life I built here into boxes, write a resignation letter citing personal circumstances. But tonight, I lean against my father's solid warmth and let myself feel the weight of 3 generations of women's choices. Paula's bitter pride, Kayla's calculated betrayal, my mother's quiet strength, my own power, finally unleashed from the cage of family obligation. 2 weeks until Seattle. Until a city where no one knows my name or the weight of history I'm choosing to set down. Where every sunrise brings a chance to write my own story, free from the shadow of a decades-old rivalry I never asked to inherit. I close my eyes and breathe in Old Spice and certainty. Tomorrow will come soon enough. Tonight belongs to truth and healing and the steady heartbeat of unconditional love. Days turn into weeks, weeks into months, and now 3 months later. The Seattle rain taps against my apartment windows, a steady rhythm that's become more comforting than melancholy. From my tiny balcony, container garden, Puget Sound stretches gray and endless, white caps dancing under heavy clouds. 3 months ago, this view terrified me with its unfamiliarity. Now it whispers of possibility. My alarm chimes at 6. The morning ritual grounds me. Coffee brewing, toast burning slightly because I still haven't figured out the temperamental settings on my new toaster. A quick check of my reflection shows dark circles fading, replaced by determination in my eyes. The certification from Vancouver already hangs framed on my office wall at Marshall Consulting, proof that running away sometimes means running toward something better. I go to work. The Wilson account needs fresh eyes. Roger announces at the morning meeting, sliding a thick folder across the conference table. Brooke, you've got experience with similar logistics challenges? My spine straightens. Yes, my certification program covered several parallel cases. The words come steady now, professional. No one here knows about Landon, about Kayla, about the wedding that should have happened last month. They know me only as the ambitious new hire who stays late and delivers results ahead of schedule. Roger nods, already moving on to the next agenda item. But I catch Sarah from accounting giving me an approving glance. Small victories, they add up. Thursday evening finds me at Global Flavors cooking class, chopping vegetables beside strangers who've become familiar faces. Tonight we're attempting Thai curry, and the scent of lemongrass and ginger fills the industrial kitchen. Watch the knife angle. Chef Marcus corrects gently, demonstrating the proper technique. My hands remember similar lessons from my grandmother, decades of Sunday dinners where she taught me to create order from chaos, one precise cut at a time. The cursor blinks on my laptop screen later that night. Doctor. Sharon's weekly therapy homework waits. Explore the generational patterns in your family's approach to relationships. Words spill onto the page about Aunt Paula's desperate grip on status, about Kayla's learned helplessness, about my own former need to fix everyone's problems while ignoring the warning signs in my own life. A text from Mom breaks my concentration. Kayla and Landon's wedding photos all over Facebook. Want me to call? No need, I type back, working on the Wilson proposal. It's not entirely a lie. The folder sits open beside me, numbers and logistics a welcome escape from memories. My phone stays dark. Mom understands now. She's learned when to push and when to let me process alone. The weekly Sunday calls have evolved from tear-filled confessions to actual conversations. Last week, we spent an hour discussing her garden renovation without once mentioning the elephant in the room. The Wilson proposal comes together over 3 sleepless nights. Graphs and projections flow from my fingertips, insights sharp and clear. When I present to the client team, Roger's eyebrows lift at the innovative solutions I've mapped out. Impressive work, he says afterward. The promotion track usually takes a year, but we might need to accelerate that timeline. A genuine smile spreads across my face. the first one in months that doesn't feel forced. In the bathroom mirror later, I catch myself humming while washing my hands. The sound startles me into silence, but the moment marks something significant. 10 whole hours without thinking about the betrayal. Lucy from 4B becomes my walking companion on weekends, our feet carrying us through Discovery Park's winding trails. She's 65, recently widowed, full of stories about Seattle in the 70s. When she talks about rebuilding after loss, her wisdom comes from experience rather than pity. My Harold's been gone 3 years, she tells me one foggy morning. Some days I still reach for him in bed, but you learn to build a life in the empty spaces. In my grief support group, faces around the circle nod as I finally share the full story. No one offers advice or empty platitudes. They just listen, and somehow that's exactly what I need. You're handling this with remarkable grace, Marcus says afterward. His wife left him for his business partner last year. He gets it. The promotion letter arrives 6 months early. Team lead, with a corner office overlooking the sound. I send a photo to my parents, and Dad books flights for the following weekend. Mom brings home-baked cookies and family photos spanning decades before the betrayal. We create new memories in my small kitchen, laughing over Dad's attempts to master chopsticks at the local sushi place. Through the family grapevine, news trickles in. Landon still hasn't found writing work. Kayla's part-time dental receptionist job barely covers their rent. They've moved in with Paula, 3 adults crammed into her small ranch house, taking turns with a single bathroom. They deserve each other. My cousin Rachel texts, always ready with family gossip. I leave her message unread. Their struggles don't bring me joy or pain anymore. They're just facts, like Seattle rain or morning traffic. At night, I water my growing collection of plants, herbs in the kitchen, succulents in my bedroom, a temperamental peace lily by my desk, green things that thrive or die based on the care they receive. No complex emotions, no hidden agendas, just honest growth, one leaf at a time. My therapy journal fills with insights about patterns broken and boundaries built. Dr. Sharon notes my progress, the way I've stopped apologizing for my career ambitions. Success is the best revenge, she says, then catches herself. Though I suspect you're past wanting revenge at all. She's right. The woman who drove away from Denver with a broken heart and a U-Haul full of shattered plans doesn't exist anymore. In her place stands someone stronger, someone who understands that walking away from toxicity isn't cowardice, it's courage. The rain against my windows has become a lullaby. On clear nights, the sound reflects stars and city lights, a reminder that beauty exists even in darkness. I've stopped checking social media, stopped asking about news from home. My story is writing itself in Seattle's gray skies and green parks, in quiet triumphs and peaceful mornings. Some nights, memories of Landon still ambush me. His laugh over breakfast, the way he used to wrap me in bear hugs after long days. But those moments come less frequently now, ghosts fading in the light of my rebuilt life. 5 years of love turned to betrayal taught me more about myself than a lifetime of easy happiness ever could. I pinned my team's first successful project timeline to my office wall, right beside that certification from Vancouver. Proof that sometimes the path forward requires walking away. The corner office plants thrive in filtered sunlight, green and growing, reaching toward tomorrow. The email flashes on my screen like a slap. Landon's name in my inbox after 7 months of silence sets my coffee mug trembling against the breakfast bar of my Seattle apartment. Subject: Our wedding fund. Brooke, I know this is awkward, but I need to discuss our joint savings. Things are tight right now, and that money was meant for both of us. I never meant for any of this to happen the way it did. Circumstances just took over. Writing isn't paying what I expected, and Kayla's dental office cut her hours. We're facing eviction next month. I hate asking, but I need my share of our wedding fund to keep a roof over our heads. It was our money after all. Please help, Landon. The autumn rain drums against my windows as I read his message 3 times. Each word pierces deeper than the last. Our money. My consulting bonuses built that account while he quit his engineering job without a word. Circumstances. As if some mysterious force pushed him into my cousin's arms. 3 days pass before I touch the keyboard. The words flow with surgical precision. The money was for our future. You forfeited that the day you ghosted me and married my cousin. Do not contact me again. My finger hovers over the send button. No anger, no accusations, just truth, clean as broken bone. Click. Block. Done. 2 weeks later, Mom's voice crackles through my phone. Paula showed up at the house with Kayla and Landon. They're demanding the wedding money. What? Your father's handling it. I'll call you back. Hours crawl by. The Seattle skyline fades from steel gray to purple twilight before my phone buzzes again. You need to hear this, Mom says. Paula started screaming about what rightfully belongs to the young couple. Kayla burst into tears about bill collectors. But Landon just stood there, staring at his shoes while they fought his battle. A bitter laugh escapes me. They expected my savings to support them? That's not even the half of it. Mom's voice hardens. Your father finally snapped, told Paula he's done sending her monthly checks. Monthly checks? $500. Every month since her divorce. 28 years of enabling her, he said. Then he looked her dead in the eyes and said, You use my family's kindness to destroy my daughter. The truth of those words rings in my ears. How many times had Paula shown up at their door with another crisis? How many checks had they written to keep peace in the family? Paula collapsed on our couch, Mom continues. Started sobbing about how life never gave her a fair chance, how watching me marry your father broke something in her that never healed. How seeing you succeed while Kayla struggled felt like history repeating itself. My throat tightens. She punished me for your happiness? I told her she never lost anything. She never played fair. Mom's voice carries decades of quiet understanding. She manipulated every situation, turned every family gathering into a competition, and when that wasn't enough, she used Kayla to take what she thought I had stolen. The family group text explodes that evening. Aunt Susan sides with Paula. Uncle Robert backs Dad. Cousin Jennifer calls Kayla a homewrecker. Grandmother Ruth threatens to cancel Thanksgiving. A new message pops up from an unknown number. Kayla. Did Mom really plan this? Did she push me toward Landon on purpose? He's not even writing anymore, just plays video games while I work. Maybe she wanted me to have what you had, but all I got were his broken promises. I closed the message without responding. Let karma finish what it started. The Seattle rain keeps falling, washing away another layer of anger I didn't know I still carried. Tomorrow I'll wake up, brew my coffee, and lead my team meeting. I'll smile at the barista and joke with my colleagues and feel a little lighter. The money in my account isn't tainted anymore. It's not a wedding fund or a symbol of betrayal. It's freedom. It's karma doing her slow, steady work while I build a life they can't touch. Maybe Dad's right. Sometimes kindness becomes destruction when we let fear of confrontation guide our choices. Sometimes the hardest answer is the simplest. No more. The eviction notice flutters in the autumn breeze, its red letters stark against the white paper tacked to Paula's front door. Through my mother's weekly updates, I learned they lasted 3 months in the Victorian townhouse before the rent check started bouncing. Now Kayla, Landon, and Paula share a 2-bedroom walk-up in Aurora, where sirens serve as nightly lullabies. He stocks shelves at Target now, Mom says during our Sunday call. Her voice carries that careful neutrality she reserves for difficult topics. Morning shifts. Someone saw him in the red vest last week. I focus on stirring honey into my tea, watching the amber liquid swirl. My Seattle apartment fills with morning light, everything bright and clean. What about his writing career? Sweetheart, Mom pauses. I don't think there ever was one. The words settle like stones. 5 years of listening to Landon talk about his novel, the characters who lived in his head, the literary agent who'd love his work if he could just finish it. All excuses to avoid looking for real work while I supported us, while I believed in him. Their arguments echo through family gossip channels. Kayla screaming about broken promises in the Walmart parking lot. Landon's bitter accusations at Thanksgiving dinner about being pushed into a fantasy life. Paula's constant presence in their tiny apartment driving final wedges between them. Remember when your father proposed to me instead of Paula? Mom's voice softens with old memories. She married Tom Richardson 2 months later. Never loved him, just wanted to prove she could get a husband too. A familiar story, but the parallels strike harder now. Tom left after 3 years. Paula's been chasing security through other people ever since. I watch a ferry cut through Puget Sound, sunlight sparking off waves. Did she ever apologize to you? No. Mom's laugh holds no bitterness. Paula doesn't apologize, she justifies. The truth of this plays out in real time. Paula starts calling relatives, voice thick with tears, asking for loans. When they refuse, she tries my grandparents. Their response travels through the family grapevine, with lightning speed. Not until you apologize to Brooke, Grandma Ruth reportedly said, and mean it. My father's monthly support checks to Paula stopped. He'd sent them ever since her divorce. $500 of guilt money, paid in silence while she slowly poisoned our family bonds. The isolation hits Paula hardest. Thanksgiving invitations dry up. Christmas card lists shrink. Family members stop accepting her calls. Meanwhile, my own quiet success speaks volumes. Team leader, at 28. A corner office with a view. Respect earned through work rather than manipulation. Your cousin's starting to see it, Mom tells me one Sunday. Kayla mentioned going to therapy, says she's recognizing patterns from childhood. I think of Kayla's tearful face in old photos, Paula's hand always gripping her shoulder. The constant pressure to be perfect, to compete, to win at all costs. Good for her. The call that changes everything comes on a rainy Tuesday. James, my boyfriend, brings me tea while I listen to Kayla's halting voice, all her sharp edges sanded down by humility. I knew it was wrong, she says. I let Mom convince me I deserved your life more than you did. That if I just played my cards right, I could have everything you worked for. Her breath catches. I'm so sorry, Brooke. Not because I need anything from you. Just because you deserve to hear it. I watched James move around my kitchen, starting dinner prep. His quiet strength, his respect for my boundaries, his understanding of healthy love. Everything Landon promised but never was. Thank you for telling me, I say finally. I hope you find peace, Kayla, far away from anyone who makes you doubt yourself. She leaves for Florida the next month. A clean break, a fresh start. Landon returns to engineering, his creative dreams deflated but his feet finally on solid ground. Paula sits alone in her apartment, writing letters I'll never read. The first arrives at my parents' house in spring the next month. Mom describes the careful handwriting, the silver border like a wedding invitation. She blames circumstances, Mom says, never mentions her own choices. Return to sender, I tell her. Some doors need to stay closed. James finds me on the balcony that evening, wrapped in the quilt my grandmother made. He doesn't ask about the letter or offer platitudes about forgiveness. Just holds me while I watch the city lights blur through tears I didn't expect to shed. You don't owe them closure, he whispers into my hair. You don't owe them anything. But I found my own closure in this quiet life I've built. In the family I've chosen, the boundaries I've drawn, the peace I've earned through walking away. Some bridges burn for a reason. Their ashes fertilize new ground where healthier things can grow. Later that night, I delete the last photo of Landon from my phone. Not out of anger or pain, but because I finally understand. Sometimes the kindest thing we can do for ourselves is to close a door and walk away. Let karma balance the scales while we build something better. The city stretches below my window, full of lights and possibilities. Somewhere in Aurora, Paula sits alone with her justifications. In Florida, Kayla learns who she is without her mother's voice in her head. And here in Seattle, I watch the fairy lights dot the sound like stars, finally free of the need to make sense of any of it. Some lessons cost everything and are worth every penny. I need 2 more years to keep my peace. The string lights twinkle across our back deck, casting warm shadows over faces I've grown to cherish. Seattle's autumn breeze carries the scent of James's famous apple cider and Linda's pumpkin bread through the open French doors. 2 years of building this life, piece by careful piece, and tonight it feels complete. Mom sets down her wine glass, wrapping both arms around my shoulders. This home suits you, sweetheart. Her eyes drift to the wall where my team leadership award hangs beside a candid photo of James and me hiking Mount Rainier. No wedding portraits or false promises, just real moments, hard-earned and true. The doorbell chimes. Sarah from accounting arrives with her husband, carrying a potted orchid and exclaiming over the view of the sound. These people know nothing of Landon or Kayla or family betrayals. They know me as I am now, the woman who leads critical projects, volunteers at the literacy center, and makes a mean chocolate souffle. Dad's phone buzzes during dessert. His expression shifts as he reads the message, and I know before he speaks. News from home travels fast. Kayla and Landon's divorce was finalized yesterday, he says quietly. She's moving to Boston next month, teaching job at a private school. I pass him the coffee pot, steady-handed. I hope she finds what she's looking for. The words hold no bitterness. How could they when losing everything led me here? When that betrayal pushed me toward a life so much richer than the one I'd planned. Later, after the last guest leaves, I find an email from Kayla waiting in my inbox. My finger hovers over delete, but something in the subject line, truth, finally makes me pause. I owe you an explanation, she writes. Mom orchestrated everything, but I let her. I wanted to believe Landon was my soulmate because it meant Mom's dreams for me would finally come true. We were never right for each other. The marriage was a mistake from day one. I'm not asking for forgiveness, I just needed you to know the truth. James finds me on the balcony that night, wrapped in the soft throw blanket he bought for my birthday. His arms slide around my waist, and I lean back against his chest, watching lights flicker across the water. Penny for your thoughts? His voice rumbles against my shoulder. Kayla emailed. She's starting over in Boston. I turned to face him. She apologized, sort of. And how do you feel about that? I consider the question, tasting it like wine. Peaceful, her choices aren't my burden anymore. He nods, understanding without pushing. This man who entered my life when I'd stopped looking for love, who builds furniture in our garage and reads history books before bed. Who proposed with a simple sapphire ring because he knew diamonds carried too many memories. Speaking of choices, he says, I've been thinking about our wedding guest list. My lips quirk. Let me guess, you're wondering if we should invite Kayla? The thought crossed my mind. You seem lighter since reading her email. Forgiveness doesn't always mean reunion. I trace the anchor tattoo on his forearm. I wish her well, but that chapter's closed. 2 weeks later, the phone rings Dad again. My heart clenches at his tone. Paula's in the hospital, he says. Aggressive breast cancer. Your mother thought you should know. The old me would have booked a flight immediately, rushing to a bedside where I wasn't wanted. But I've learned about boundaries, about the difference between compassion and martyrdom. I'll send flowers, I tell him. The good kind, from that shop she always bragged about. I hung up. After the dinner that same night, James and I stood at the railing, watching the moon paint silver paths across the water. Tomorrow, I'll place the flower order. Tomorrow, I'll start planning our small wedding, surrounded by people who've earned their place in our story. Tomorrow, I'll call Mom and share more of the wisdom we've both gained about breaking cycles of hurt. But tonight, I savor this moment, the warmth of James beside me, the life we're building, the quiet certainty that sometimes losing everything shows you exactly what you need to keep. The breeze carries a whisper of wood smoke from somewhere down the hill. I close my eyes, breathing in the scent of autumn and possibility. Some lessons cost everything and are worth every penny.